Oh me. All right, guys. Well, we'll wait. Oh, I'm muted. We'll wait as some people trickle in here. Obviously, that was a tough loss, and I guess you know what? I'll just go ahead and bring in my boy Cdogg to kind of start breaking this down. I apologize. My voice is shot from the first half, and
I bet, dude. I was hollering too.
yeah. I'll tell you this. I mean, there's a few things. There's a ton of things to break down and go over in this game. I was as surprised in the second half as I was in the first half.
Yeah.
Initially, we were really getting pushed around up front. We were having trouble doing anything for about, half a quarter. And then all of a sudden, I mean, Haynes King couldn't be stopped.
Yeah.
Travion Cooley was running all over the field. I guess just to recap. And what was it, 28-13?
Yep.
And
at halftime.
At halftime. And it's the happiest I've been in some time, man.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to give credit to Louisville. They made adjustments. They came out in the half and they blanked us in the second half. And yeah, I mean, what do you think, Cdogg?
So here's kind of my take of what happened. Like you said, we started out slow. I think that was just kind of our offense, just kind of getting its feet under itself. A lot of times you see that in week one, like
yeah,
teams' offenses start out slow, and it's and that's kind of what happened. We have a new coordinator, a lot of new players and everything, so it took them a little bit going. And once they got going, I mean, they really let it fly, and we got a couple momentum.
4 straight touchdowns.
Yeah, 4 straight touchdowns. We were on fire, and what I believe happened was we thought we had them and let off the gas in the first half. And I think I think the players and coaches I think it was a little bit more relaxed play calling, and the players weren't playing as hard in the second half. And that's what I think's happened, because there's no other explanation. This game is just as much emotional and mental as it is physical. So we had the ability to obviously impose our will onto Louisville. But, momentum is a real thing, and they came out and they punched us in the mouth, and we never got the momentum back.
No.
So, and I think I was looking on Twitter a little bit, and I think I saw Kelly Quinlan said they basically, I think Travion Cooley in the post-game press conference said something along those lines, that we thought we had them and just didn't. And, I think that this is a hard lesson that the team probably would have had to learn at one point or the other, and they learned it tonight. And hopefully they take this and take it as just a hard lesson, because it's not anymore cut and dry than you totally freaking blew the lead because you got complacent.
It was it was such the tale of two halves. And look. Yeah. This is why it's a 4-quarter game. You've got to play a complete game, and we didn't. I mean, we played half of a football game about as well as I've ever seen Georgia Tech play half of a football game.
Yeah.
And it was bizarre. I've seen it on Twitter. It was like we were playing scared. It's like we went into halftime with the lead, and we were like, okay, let's just not mess this up. Let's just run it right up the middle. And it even trickled down to Haynes King. And this is I don't know. I'm not sure about our quarterback. I'll say that. And because Haynes King was playing very timid and tight in the second half. Like, there were several times where it was like, just take off and run with it. And he was hesitating. He fell back into some bad habits with his footwork. Throwing off his back foot, not setting his feet, and trying to throw with his arm. I don't know how much of that is Haynes King, and I don't know how much of that is the play calling. I think not athletes and coaches have a ton to learn. I think we got outcoached in the second half, and I hate to say that, but I do think we got outcoached in the second half. When you put up 28 points in the first half and get blanked in the second half, I mean, something. Well, I tell you one thing that concerns me about our team looking at this game. Our defensive line struggled a lot. Even when we were clicking in the first half, we were not ever able to get pressure on that. I mean, I think 4 times maybe.
No sacks. We have no sacks.
No sacks. I think we pressured him 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
I don't think we ever pressured him.
He escaped every time.
He escaped, or it was incomplete, but I don't think we ever pressured him in the second half. I don't think he was pressured once.
And they ran, and on average, they were able to run it a lot better on us than we were on them. It feels like, every time we would get a yard and they would get, they would get 4 at least or something like that.
I don't think that it seemed like they didn't. They probably averaged 6.5 yards a play in the second half. If I had to bet, I don't have the stats in front of me. I mean, let me pull. I don't know how many total yards of offense they had. You can look that up, though. I mean, I don't really want to, but we need to talk about it. I mean, I'll say this: talking about Louisville, I mean, I don't know how good of a team they are because I don't know how good of a team Georgia Tech is right now. Yeah. What I can say about Louisville is they're a very fast football team. They have a lot of speed on that team. Yeah. Jamari Thrash looked very good. I mean, we had a lot of trouble stopping him. Let's see here. Let's go to the box score.
So I was scared that that Haynes King was going to come out and throw and do a bunch of turnovers today, but he didn't. He had one sort of fluke one at the beginning, but other than that, I think Haynes King looked amazing. And you mentioned his decision making earlier, but I thought he was making great decisions. Sometimes he had maybe a couple questionable passes, but a lot of the time where he decided to throw it, he would throw it away rather than trying to force a pass. And then he whenever he took off, he got several first downs with his legs when the pocket broke down. And I don't know. I was super impressed with Haynes King. He threw for over 200 yards, close to that. He had close to 100 on the ground. Haynes King is the truth.
I'll be honest with you, I don't know. It might have looked different on TV because I was in basically the box and I could see the whole field. There were several times where it was clear you need to tuck it and run, and it took him a second and a half. He was still trying to look for that downfield throw, and it's man, you got to take off and run with it. He nearly, and that ball should have been picked that he tried to throw away.
The one out of bounds. It was almost out of bounds.
It was you said that you were afraid that he was going to turn the ball over. To me, in the second half, he played like he was afraid he was going to turn the ball over. That's how I saw it, because when I see the coverage downfield, and credit to their defense in the second half, he didn't have a lot. There wasn't people running down the field wide open. There was one, but he'd had to throw across his body about 50 yards, and I don't have a problem. The other thing was the throws he didn't make. There were a few that were open. And the thing is, it's tough because this is Buster Faulkner's first time in the box calling plays. I think he would be the first to admit the second half play calling wasn't great.
Dude, I don't know why we abandoned the pass. There was one really head scratching where we get all the way down, and the pass had got us all the way down there. I think it was when we came back from the quarter going into the fourth quarter, and we run it 2 or 3 times, and for whatever reason we couldn't run it and would get 1 or no yards, and it was like
it wasn't for whatever reason. They were stacking the box. They basically played a 5-2 defense. They had 5 down linemen, 2 linebackers, 7 in the box. Sometimes they had 8 in the box. And look, it's what I would have done. They said, you're going to have to beat us throwing. You're not going to have Travion Cooley run over us like he did at times in the first half. And some bright spots. Jamal Haynes looked very good tonight.
Dude, he was awesome. What a surprise.
We didn't see Evan Dickinson. We saw Jamal Haynes at the 3 spot. And honestly, we didn't see a whole lot of Dante Smith. I think he probably got 25% of the snaps, wouldn't you say?
He came in at the beginning, nothing going, and they put in Haynes, and he went off, and then he played the rest of the game.
And it seemed like Dante Smith, basically we needed a back with a little more weight on him and strength, I think, and I think that's where Travion did a lot better.
Cooley had 2 touchdowns.
I mean, first half he looked great. Now, this is shocking to me. If you had to guess what the yardage was, total yardage between these two teams, what would you think?
I don't know. I know that Haynes King had like 200 plus through the air.
Do you think Louisville outgained us?
Probably not.
No. Louisville had 474 total yards of offense. Georgia Tech had 488 yards of total offense.
That sounds about right.
Louisville was 1-11 on third down. Georgia Tech was 6 for 13. Now they didn't
they were like 0 for on third downs, weren't they? Or did they get 1?
They had 1 for 11.
Wow.
Now they marched down the field and didn't get into. I bet you 8 of those third downs were from the first half.
Yeah.
They didn't get into third down much in the second half. Now, passing, Georgia Tech 313 yards. Haynes threw for 313 yards. Louisville 247, each for, let's see. Where does it show touchdowns? They both threw an interception. I don't know why it doesn't show.
How much did we give up on the ground? That's what I'm curious about, because I felt like we got gashed on the ground.
They ran for 227 yards on us, 6.7 yards a rush. We ran for 175.
Okay.
So that was a big difference. And look, I said, before the game, I thought this game was going to come down to special teams. And I think Gavin Stewart missing that, 33-yard field goal was probably what decided that ball game. They wouldn't have gone for 2 if he hit that field goal. I don't know. I mean, he just missed it. I mean, no one got a hand on it. It wasn't like he was hurried.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, we never get the ball after the half. We always lose the coin toss. Or when we win it, I think we elect to receive, which is so dumb. Like, why?
We didn't elect to receive. Louisville won the coin
toss.
Won. And they
we never win the coin toss. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, it was crazy, man. Like, I was in, the club suite, and just for, cool things I got to see, I mean, at halftime, Jay Batt came in our suite. I got to shake Jay Batt's hand. The energy was electric. Like, Jay Batt was happy. Everyone was like, and you got to realize these are people that make decisions for this program talking to Jay Batt. I mean, I felt out of place, honestly. Like, it was really kind of surreal. But, I mean, it just turned on us. Let me look. Penalties, they had 7 for 59 yards. We had 2 penalties for 20 yards.
Yeah. Penalties were great.
Now, I will say Louisville got a bit chippy at times.
Yeah, I feel like we got bailed out a lot of the time, too, by the penalties on their end.
Yeah. No, especially on that last drive.
On that one, the drive, yeah.
They held, and it must have been bad. I was watching Haynes King, and that was an off-the-ball flag, so I didn't really see what was going on. Time of possession was about dead even, 30 minutes to 29. I mean, the time of possession, we held the ball, 10 seconds longer than Louisville in that game. and we had 2 turnovers to their 1. And look, the game didn't start off necessarily great either. Haynes King throws an interception, kind of gets batted. They come down with it. But, we're talking a lot about the offense. If our defense just could have got a stop more
Dude,
in
they
the second half.
They got absolutely tore up in the second half and gave up. How many drives in a row did they give up? Like what happened?
I don't know. And that run, that 70-something yard run, everyone in the world knows they're going to run it there, and we can't get a stop. We got whooped on the line of scrimmage, and this is what concerns me about this team this year. Mm-hmm. If we can't win those battles in the line of scrimmage and we can't be a little more consistent on offense, we're going to have trouble beating good teams this year. We're going to have trouble making a bowl this year if we can't get that figured out. Now, knowing Brent Key, I would say he's probably as pissed, as heartbroken as anyone. And look, we're Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. We bleed white and gold, and we're going to show up for this team, win, lose, or draw, every week. And I'm going to support them. And look, it's Brent Key's, first game as head coach. There's a lot of coaches their first time. There's going to be some learning curves. And this ain't the end of our season. Like it is. I do feel really emotional right now, and I'm kind of having to compose myself because I'm really upset. But this doesn't mean we can't make a bowl. It's one game. It's one game.
That team I saw, that team could do great things. We really were clicking. And if we take this and take it as a lesson, we can get some upsets this year. We can have a lot of success.
Yes.
It's not. People are going to take this and use it to, sell on Tech and kind of disparage us and throw us away and count us out. Well, we ain't dead yet. So. No. This team is good. This team's got some stuff to work out, and it's a long way from finish. And that was a tough opponent to play in week 1.
Yeah.
And, and I just think, I think that, we're going to learn from this, and I think we're just going to get better as the year goes. I think this was a tough lesson, but I think we can learn from it.
100%. Let me roll up through the chat here. I know you guys have a lot to say. I even see Cdogg in here. Glad to see him. PC Toddy says Blarg. John Burns says offensive line did not show up in the second half. I don't know, honestly, and you might think differently, Cdogg. I don't know that our offensive line played that much worse in the second half. It just seemed like Louisville came out and I don't know, had a better game plan. Basically, Louisville said, you're not going to run up the middle on us. You're going to have to throw. And they covered, man. They covered our receivers.
They did, yeah. As much as I hate to say it, I feel like this was a game between two good teams.
Yeah,
So now that Louisville's beat us in a close way, I hope that they do well and make us look good.
Yeah.
And this was just a tough break against a good team in week 1 when we're still trying to figure ourselves out.
100%. Ved says tough one. Not much left to say. Flying Death second half was a different team for sure. Cdogg 18. My throat is dead right now.
My throat hurts. Dude.
I had to get coffee, at my seat. My throat was doo doo.
Yeah.
That kind of loss makes you lose motivation for the rest of the year. This is a great ATL way. Tech again snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. I'll be honest with you, man. That's not how I feel.
That's not either. I feel hopeful. I feel optimistic for the rest of the year. I'm looking at it this way. Okay, I know it sucks, and I know the way we lost is the worst part about it. Like giving up the lead. If we had lost 30. Whatever the score was, 34-39, in a normal way, just couldn't keep up with them. It wouldn't be as bad. it does suck we gave up so that stings more. But Tech fans, uh, this ain't nothing. If you've been around for the past few years under Jeff Collins, um, just try to remind yourself that we've seen a lot worse,
Yeah.
and to keep up with what I think is a good Louisville team was a good it was a good valiant fight from us, and we got stuff to figure out. But it could be a lot worse. Me and WreckTalk were hanging out today, and we revisited a moment from the past a couple years ago. It was the 2021 game against Notre Dame, and we had been blown out 55-0, and it seemed absolutely hopeless at the time. We were at bottom, like rock bottom.
Yeah.
Okay, and I would take this over that any day. What is it? What is the Bobby Bowden saying? My brother said this earlier. First, you lose big, then you lose small, then you win small, and then you win big. That's the steps to rebuilding a program.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know it doesn't make you feel any better. But from what I've seen, I am happy. I probably got a little carried away in the offseason saying we could go 8-4 and all that. I probably got a little too hyped up. This team can still win 6-7 games.
No, I mean when was the last time we scored 34 points?
That game, if we had played Boston College that way, we would have destroyed them. Virginia, destroyed them. Syracuse, destroyed them. A lot of teams on our schedule. North Carolina game is going to be a bloodbath. We're going to kick their teeth in. Okay. It just so happened. This is the way I'm looking at it. It just so happened Louisville's good, and they got us.
Well, and I said I think Louisville's fast. I still don't know exactly how good Louisville is. And look, that's not trash talk. I think you let Louisville get down 28-13 against a team that's a little more complete than Georgia Tech. They're going to have trouble winning those games.
Yeah, for sure.
So they're going to have to.
But you got to remember, it was their first game too. They've got a ton of transfers too. They've got stuff to figure out too.
Yeah.
They've got that stuff to figure out too. So, I maybe I'm just coping. I'm just trying to make myself feel a little bit
I don't think it's coping, because it's really easy with what we've experienced for the past 4 years to throw your hands up and be like, yep, same old, same old. But it's not the same old, same old.
It's not. And revisiting that today helped put it in perspective for me, that Notre Dame loss, because I was absolutely hopeless back then, and I couldn't find a single thing to take positively out of that situation.
Yeah.
But looking at this, I can see a lot of things that we're doing right. And you got to realize that, this is this is a rebuild from Jeff Collins. He had a lot of things going wrong, and specifically, like we were saying, on the lines of scrimmage.
Yeah.
The lines of scrimmage got a lot of work to do. So he's having to redo all that, and we were hoping that we'd be a little further along just because of the continuity of it. We didn't have a ton of players transfer and everything like that, but it still is a building process, and this is just what happens. I really, really wanted to win this game. I really wanted it more than anything, but maybe the lesson that we can take from this is more valuable. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue to get better. I know that. Let me go back through the chat here.
There's a lot of people in here. Thanks for watching, y'all.
Yeah, looks like we've got about 53 people in here. Definitely appreciate it. Thanks, guys, for showing up. We were supposed to be way better into the fourth with all that conditioning. I don't think it was a conditioning issue, guys. I mean, I don't. I think,
like I said, I mean, we clearly showed the ability to stop them. We could to impose our will onto them, but like I said, it's a mental thing as much as it is physical.
yeah, it just seemed like we were playing not to lose in the second half.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a conditioning issue. From everything that I know about how camp was run, it was brutal. I don't think conditioning is the issue.
Yeah. We need some mental conditioning now.
Yeah, we need a little mental conditioning. A lot of people saying our play calling in the second half was really bad. Yeah, I think there's a lot to be learned from the play calling. I think we should have really gone for the jugular in the second half. Now that's it, guys. That's easy for me to say in hindsight, right? We could have done that and then it didn't work, and we said, well, why don't we just try to run the ball?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Buster has things to learn too. Defensive line was getting zero pressure. That's a big issue. Yeah, we had trouble getting in the backfield. Every time they went to the edge, they got it. Yeah, I think they had speed on us.
They were killing us on the outside for sure. Yeah, they were killing us on those outside runs. But I mean, even still up the middle, like they would get 4 yards every time, whereas we would get 1. But yeah, it did drive me crazy a little bit in the second half when we kind of abandoned the pass, even though it was kind of working. It was a little more consistently working than just running. Like running 1 yard is so frustrating.
Yeah,
and they would do it over and over, and it got really frustrating. So.
Yeah. And but here's the thing, and this is something Keith said, like when you're in 3rd and 1 and everyone knows you're going to run, you got to be able to pick up a yard on the ground, even when they know you're going to run.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just all there is to it. Keaton says starting King over Pyron because of quote-unquote experiences while we lost the game. That's not why we lost the game.
Dude,
I disagree
okay.
with that 100%.
Okay, yeah, no. So I mean, so it is interesting that you have a different perspective on Haynes King. From what I saw, he looked like an absolute beast. I mean, from and in the second half, whenever we did work, he would scramble for first downs and he would throw it away when he needed to, and the receivers weren't helping him out much a lot at times. But from my perspective, it looks like he was absolutely insane, really, really good.
Yeah, we didn't lose because of
we did not lose because
King.
of Haynes King. That I don't know how you could. Look. We are as a team on par with Louisville. Okay, we are capable of beating them, even blowing them out. Even if things go right, but I mean, it's a mental thing. This team doesn't know how to lose. We've been losers for years, and this team's got to learn how to win a game.
Yeah, 100%. This is my perspective on Haynes King, and I don't think you can judge a quarterback based on one game, and I don't think he played bad in this game. I think at times he played better than we've seen a quarterback play at Georgia Tech in a long time.
Well, when's the last time we've had one throw for over 200 yards?
I mean, he threw for over 300. When was the last time we had one throw for over 300? This is what I felt, especially getting into the end of the third quarter when the pressure really was on, and they were mounting a comeback. They get within 8. I felt like the moment might have got too big for Haynes right there. He threw a ball right up the seam. No one was there.
No one. It was 3 defenders there. I know exactly what you're talking about. And it hit the ground. Luckily, it wasn't intercepted.
Yeah, and that was right around the time he almost threw a pick right before that where he's trying to throw it out of bounds. That's what I'm saying when you're talking about the mental things. And I'm not saying this did happen. I felt like the moment might have got too big for him. So we're not probably going to know in South Carolina State. I don't think we're really going to know if that's the case with Haynes King until Ole Miss.
So so this was also frustrating. What was your perspective on after we basically had already lost the game and we had too much of a deficit, and then we come back and absolutely just tear down the field? Was it because they were playing prevent?
They were in prevent. Yeah, they had a 3-3.
It prevents you from winning.
Yeah, they had soft coverage under the middle, and Haynes was just dropping it in that window. Before then, and I'll tell you this, it's hard to see on TV. They were doing really well at masking coverages at times where it looked like they were pressed, and then they'd rotate out of it in a cover 3 or cover 2 when it looked like they were cover 0. And sometimes they'd rotate into that. And then for a while, they just stacked the box. And really, probably that game came down to they were able to play man coverage really well. I did give them credit in like the preview. Their secondary's pretty good.
They're better than I thought, for sure.
Yeah, and
Better than I thought.
I don't know if we overvalued our secondary because we weren't able to. I mean, when Jack Plummer has 3 seconds to throw the ball, I don't know. I mean, the best secondaries in the country are going to have trouble covering, especially receivers like Jamari Thrash, and they had a few others too that were pretty speedy.
Yeah,
a lot more to learn. Vince Wilk says, "Yep, still need to work on the lines." Let's see here. Mystic says King did good.
Yeah, another thing I was going to mention was also if you notice how in the first half we had that goal line situation. I think it was the first touchdown we scored, or the second, and we couldn't get 1 yard. We were on the 1 yard line, and we couldn't get 1 yard. We had to get cute with the tight end and get the touchdown.
And buddy, that was not like some wide open tight end slip to the edge there. I mean, he had to make a throw on the run.
Yeah. So that was concerning.
GT on top says the sack fumble killed us. I didn't see where that guy released from, but
see, that's what I'm saying. Like, Haynes King was great that drive, and he had like kept it alive with his his feet. Twice that and made some nice throws. We were all the way down there, and he just absolutely got destroyed from the blind side, and like that was not his fault. He was failed to be protected.
I'm
he was
happy he's okay.
Vulnerable. I am too. That was nasty.
That was a every quarterback's worst nightmare. A blindside release, right to the C3 and C4 there.
I hope that I hope that doesn't affect his trust, because that's hard to. He trusted them to protect him, and if he had a little more time, he probably could have made something happen. But he trusted his guys, and they freaking let him down big time. And at that point, by letting that freaking dude take him down like that.
Yes,
that was sad. That was sad.
Now, Cdogg 18, he brings up a good point, and I thought this watching the game. And once we really started turning the tide after a rough start, remember when Haynes King just put his foot in the ground and ran upfield and got some good yardage on the ground? Like, if they're wanting to just scream upfield and just pressure you in your face, why not screen them? I mean, if they're just committed to blitzing 2 linebackers and putting 4 down linemen, let them run upfield and take themselves out of the play and screen them. We didn't run a single screen pass that I saw, which is Cdogg 18 says they never called any screen plays or anything like that in the second half. That was something I noticed too. And look, other teams are going to watch film of this and they're going to say, all right, the keys to beating Georgia Tech is stack the box and make them throw. Now, we did well in the first half. We just weren't able to maintain it. So a lot of this is same old. Adam J. Johnson says, not much separation from our receivers in the second half. Yeah. He didn't have much of a choice. And that's a good point, man. Like, people really focus on the quarterback. He gets all the praise when things go well, and people want to put him in a trash can when you lose. He didn't have a lot to work with. There weren't wide open wide receivers. He could have been hell-bent on forcing balls and thrown 2 more picks or something and taking us out way earlier.
Yeah. So I think that I loved his decision making. He knew when to throw it away. He found the open guys when they were open, and then when they weren't, he would try to make something work on his legs. I really did. I really was impressed with Haynes King. Like he played a great game. He played a great game.
Yeah, I mean, don't write off. I'm not writing off Haynes
Yeah.
King. I said, hey, here are my concerns, but we got to see. We got to see what. Hopefully, I'm wrong. I don't really know where people are getting conditioning and injuries in the secondary, and overall the whole defense was getting hurt. We did have some players go down. Clayton Powell-Lee went down for a while.
Yeah, he went down. Where was the Miles Brooks? I didn't see much from him from this game. Did he even play?
Yes, but I didn't see him in the second half.
I know King was in there, but Miles Brooks was on a milk carton. I did not know what happened to
I
him.
didn't see him on the
He was
field.
he was a captain too.
Yeah, did you? I didn't even see number 1 on the field.
I didn't see him at all.
So hopefully when they do a post-game presser, we'll get some answers to that. Lee Daniel, depth, in my opinion, on both lines is the issue, and that's going to take time. We didn't command the line of scrimmage on first down both sides. Yeah, and that was a concern of ours going into the season, right? Cdogg,
Yeah.
depth on the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm. Damn it. Yeah, I want to look at this. I want to look at our stats here and see if Miles Brooks was even. He had 53 yards rushing. Haynes King did very nice. Average 5.5 yards. So stoked on him. Stoked. Okay,
Really good news. We had a tight end catch a touchdown. We touched on that earlier. So that definitely felt really good.
Dude. Yeah, here he is. He had 1 tackle the whole game. That's it.
Yeah, like he wasn't called for targeting, right? So I just don't remember seeing him all in the second half. So it makes you think injury, which is absolutely crushing. And look, as far as the lines of scrimmage, it hurts not having Keon White, man. Like we're definitely feeling that.
I thought the guys were talking about how much depth we had, dude, and I thought man, I was worried. See, I was worried. I was really worried about the D line too. I was worried we wouldn't be able to replace the production on Keon White. Well, then I go and listen to the Go Jackets podcast, and it's Rob McKenzie. And they're talking about, they were telling us how they have 11 guys that are ready to play on the defensive line, and how we have kind of quantity over quality, and how we can keep rotating them in and send them in waves and just have them keep pounding at the offensive line and staying fresh. But that didn't seem to
it didn't make much of a difference. I mean, hell, we might have done better sticking with our best 4 for a good while.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people, I'm sure you're seeing it too. Brooks injured in first half and did not play in the second half. Went out in the second quarter.
Happened?
I hope it's not serious. If
Me
so,
too.
that's absolutely devastating for
who also went down is Jordan Williams.
Oh man.
He went down the first half too. So
well, it's gonna be next man up. I mean, we're going to have to figure something out.
Well, we do have Jalen King, but he was hurt all offseason.
Yep. Jalen King and Clayton Powell-Lee, he came back in, and Yeonjun got hurt.
Yeah, Yeonjun got hurt too, yeah. I don't know what became
Well, hell, how many kids we have injured? Like 5 kids?
I don't know, man. Louisville is playing very aggressive and tough. Like they're playing very, very aggressive.
Jake, I see Bryce Coon says tough one. It was a tough one, Bryce. I know we were both there. I know you felt that electrifying energy as the first half ended, and we just weren't able to bring it out in the second half. Jacob Gray says the toughest part is we only drew 36,000 fans. Yeah, it said 36,100 on the screen, which was a bit disappointing for me. I thought we'd have more than that, and honestly, Louisville didn't travel as well as people kind of thought.
It looked like it was all Louisville fans. I meant to ask you about
I
that.
have a video I took. I'll send it to you. I mean, I felt
Yeah, I
like
want to
there
see.
was a good bit more Georgia Tech fans. I mean, it was hard for me to see right below me, and I was
Yeah.
behind the visiting bench. ACL is what it looked like for who?
For Brooks.
Well, we talked about a bunch of kids. The last guy you commented about was Yanju, and if that's true, I mean that's going to be tough. If we got key injuries on the defensive line, on the secondary, and the offensive line, uh, Yan,
Sylvain
oh
ACL. He
man,
says.
that's his career. Then he's a senior, unless you can do a medical red shirt and then come back next year.
Right. D4 in the house. I love you, D4. I can't wait for your wedding tomorrow. He says great potential shown. I believe in the Jackets and my favorite Jackets tubers. Ah, that's my
Thanks,
man
D4.
right there.
D4
I
is
believe
good
in
people.
Texas too. I have Texas ranked number 5 in my poll. I am drinking the Texas Kool-Aid this year. I think that they're going to be different. So take that of what you will. Might even have a chance to upset Alabama.
Oh boy.
Let's see about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to your wedding tomorrow, bud. Nick Nader asked us to talk him off the ledge. Oh, look, go back earlier. I kind of did that earlier. So go back earlier into the pod, into the show, and you just got to put it in perspective, man. We've been, I think back to Jeff Collins and just how different this was. Like that team, like if you take that performance, if we had some FCS team and if we had Georgia's schedule, we could warm up against, UT Martin and freaking get our feet under us and get the chemistry going. Then we could have a little tougher challenge the next week with Cock and Ball State, these freaking doo-doo freaking teams that they play. And then you ramp it up and you get South Carolina, so it's like, then you get to chill against UAB the next week. So like, we had Louisville, and Louisville's tough. I think they're a good team. So you just kind of got to put it in perspective. Like,
Yeah.
That performance tonight would have been good enough to beat a lot of teams this year, and we are a lot better than people think. And
Yep.
I think that everybody's pissed because it's just the way we lost. And I'm trying. I'm upset too, but I'm trying to keep it in perspective. And this is leagues better than what Jeff Collins. I mean, Jeff Collins would have lost to them 100-0.
Well, yeah. I mean, who thought we would score 34 points in week 1? I mean, so the offense isn't just a loss. And yeah, I had Georgia fans chirping at me the minute my foot hit the concrete going to the parking lot. And this guy was like, well, what happened? I'm like, well, we didn't open up with a garbage bag team like UT Martin. That team's so garbage that the game's not even televised.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well, I mean, we'll see that. We'll see this next week, We'll have a chance to lick our wounds a little bit next week. We'll take down South Carolina State. We'll whoop them. We'll whoop them bad.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully get a little bit healthier. You hate to say that after one game. But, I mean, this team's good. This team is good. We have a long way to go, but we're gonna get better as the year goes on, and we can still win 6-7 games, I think.
Yeah, I do. I mean, look, let's say we, beat South Carolina State, and we go 1-1 with Wake and Ole Miss. All right.
I counted those both as losses. In my schedule prediction. But it's possible we beat Ole Miss. They weren't that good last year. This team could beat last year's Ole Miss. I don't know how good they're going to be this year. Any Ole Miss fan will tell you they're going to be better. But,
yeah,
they could be overlooking us. Ole Miss plays Alabama the next week after they play us. So, it could possibly be a look-ahead spot, You never know. We can make up for this. We can get an upset. We can upset Wake or Ole Miss or something.
Yeah, and
I
look,
believe in this team, man.
Our wide receiver room had bright spots too. Chase Lane had some speed. I didn't know he had that kind of speed. I mean, he left a pretty quick Louisville secondary in the dust, and he had like a 60-yard,
50-yard, touchdown, yeah.
Abdul Janae looked good. Dominique
Yeah.
Blaylock, I think he dropped some balls, but he
Yeah.
looked good in kick return. I mean, we were able to actually get 10, 15 yards on some returns, or like a minimum
Yeah.
5 yards on a return.
Yeah. Did you notice we stopped returning kickoffs like in the second
I'm
half?
okay with that because they were absolutely busting the wedge on us.
Yeah, they were.
So I'm like, yeah, I'm okay with just taking it on the 20 instead of the
Yeah.
15.
Right. Me
I'm
too.
totally fine with that.
I just wish we could return kickoffs. Like, I wish we could.
Yeah, with the speed that Singleton has, if you can just give him a little bit of help with the
He got
kick return.
Yeah, he got playing time too.
Yeah.
True freshman and caught a touchdown. So
Yeah, true
props to him.
freshman getting in. I mean, I'm trying to think of who else I saw in that receiver rotation.
So Malik Rutherford.
Yep.
He had a good game. He had a touchdown or two. It's crazy talking about all these. I mean, we put up 30 freaking 4 and lost, you know. But I mean, that offense putting up 34, and the offense is in no way complete, you know. But look at this. So here we go. Where's TDs? Eric. Sorry, Chase Lane had a touchdown. Eric Singleton had a touchdown. And Brett Seether had a touchdown. So
Yeah, at the tight end.
yeah, so I was and then Jamal Haynes, dude. I mean, who saw that coming? Haynes and Cooley, they were a good little 1-2 punch.
And I see
when they were
Dickinson
going.
got one carry. I don't remember him coming in the game, but
Yeah, he did. They tried out, Dante and tried out Dickinson, but it's a shame about Dante,
yeah.
I feel like we've been talking about him for 2 years now.
He was one of my breakout players this year.
Yeah.
And look, he still could be.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. When was the last
I
time?
wonder if he could plow through that line a little better. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he's more the guy you give him a seam, and he can get through it and get some space. But if you're wanting him to make contact at the line and drive through and break a tackle, that's just not what his skill set is.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, speaking of which, what was our tackling, dude? Too much arm tackling, and like we could not tackle in space.
Well,
it was very hard to watch.
I feel like they had Ace Ely and Charlie Thomas stripping balls on their mind. It looked like a lot of time they were tackling, they're trying to grab.
They were trying to rip it out, yeah.
And like you got to make the tackle first, man. But
yeah,
you got to have priorities.
So many times we had the guy dead to rights. They would throw to their man, and we'd have him, and he'd just spin around and break the tackle. It was driving me crazy. Like, I don't know.
How do you think the recruits in attendance took this game? I have no idea, honestly. I don't recall seeing any recruits while I was there. I was pretty focused on the field.
Look, I know it's the end of the world now, but I don't think that. I mean, if a recruit decommits after one game, that's
Yeah, especially when you can pitch. Hey, man, you're that next piece. Like, what's the kid in Hiram Jameson Riggs?
Oh, like, we need him big time.
He could be that next piece on the offensive line.
Yeah.
That can break things open for us.
Yep.
Squid Tart says tough fight, fellas. Georgia Tech heading in the right direction. I appreciate that, Squid Tart. I agree. It's tough to get on here after a loss, but I think you're right. So you have to acknowledge like this is a team that's heading in the right direction. This is a team that has got a lot of new pieces in place.
I'm proud of the way we played. We showed a lot of promise and a lot of fight and toughness, like Brent Key was saying.
Yeah.
Like he's been saying. I mean, I think he's proved that the team's tough, and we didn't give up.
No. Or we wouldn't have scored that last touchdown.
Yeah, we might have got a little bit complacent and let them come back, but I mean, I'm so proud of the progress that we've made. It might not be as much as I had hoped for. I predicted 8-4. That's looking a little silly now.
What was your rant at the end of your stream?
Oh, you should play it.
All right, hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Because I obviously didn't get to watch any of it.
You should, just go ahead and play it. It was, dude, I was getting tore up in the comment section. Of course, a bunch of Georgia fans came in at the end to make fun of me because, of course, they have nothing better to do because they're playing UT Martin this weekend, so they don't have any actual football to talk about. They won't even be able to watch their game. So, they come troll me.
All right, let me flip screens here.
How come we can come it's like the part where I like pick up the camera
and with no timeouts and a 2-minute drill? Wanted, just thought we were going to get blown out and played.
Yeah, there it is. Okay.
Obviously got a lot to work on.
No, that
no,
yeah, skip ahead. That I was given like a speech. It's when I'm talking to Uncle Lou. I think I sit down for a little while.
You guys,
yeah, so skip skip past all that. I like sit down for a minute and point the camera at myself, and then I get back up because Uncle Lou came in and pissed me off. So
Year of the Dog.
Yeah, it's past all this. I was just talking about how I was proud,
Oh, can I have?
That we.
You want to know something, Uncle Loser? You want to know something? Okay. Spam in 1990. Yeah, you think that's so freaking funny? It doesn't have anything to do with anything. Okay. You Georgia fans are so freaking stupid, okay? You think that spamming 1990 is going to bother me, okay? You think that spamming that is going to bother me? It doesn't. It doesn't mean anything coming from a freaking Georgia fan. Do you know why people spam 1980 to Georgia fans in the first place? Do you understand why? No, because you're a freaking idiot, drooling, retard freaking Georgia fan, and you can't comprehend, you can't use critical thinking. You don't know why everybody thought it was so funny and said 1980 over and over. It's because Georgia is constantly one of the most talented teams in the country and came within inches of winning national titles over and over every year and always choked it, okay? That's why it was funny. It doesn't mean anything to me as a Tech fan when you say 1990. I'm trying to make a freaking bowl here. If I go to the national championship and freaking choke it on 2nd and 26 like a freaking loser idiot like the freaking Bulldogs do, or lose to Alabama in 2012 and not get to go play the overrated Notre Dame team, okay, that's why it's freaking funny. That's why 1980 was funny. But I know that you don't understand that, so I'll spell it out for you, okay? I'll spell it out for you. So you can spam 1990 all you freaking want. It doesn't mean anything. Now, if Georgia Tech goes and chokes all these kind of leads and continues this freaking trend and gets this close to winning a freaking national title, then 1990 might hold some weight, okay? But not when you're, I mean, we're not the most freaking talented team in the whole world, got all this recruiting ability in Georgia and freaking have basket weaving classes all our players can tape and all the money and all the freaking advantages in the world and still can't win the big one. We have a lot of disadvantages at Tech, okay? And we've still been a solid freaking good football program historically. And guess what? People think that this proves that we suck or something and they have short memories and they think that we're like Vanderbilt or something and they think we're just going to suck forever. That team that I saw play tonight does not suck. And we're going to shock some people, okay? We're going to take this lesson and we're going to learn from it. And we're coming after everybody. I piped up a little bit in the halftime, okay? And I look silly now because that we choked. But the people on our schedule, okay? You're still on notice. You're still on notice. Because now we've had a Georgia Tech team that's learned a lesson and been humbled a little bit. We came out hot, right? Well, this isn't happening again, okay? So, you think you can count the freaking Yellow Jackets out. But we won't stop, okay? We got a long way to go, but we're not going to stop. And the Brent Key era has begun. And that team that I just saw, I'm proud of. I'm proud to be a Yellow Jacket. And win, lose, or tie, I'm a Yellow Jacket till I die. So you can take your 1980 and turn it sideways and shove it up your candy ass.
Oh, Let me switch. Where's my screen? I'm all discombobulated now. Yeah, I mean, they all come out chirping. But let me tell you something.
Do you like that?
Yes, because you're so right. All these guys. Let me step back from the microphone because they started chirping at me too. Do you have a national championship in your lifetime? Shut up! Because let me tell you something, Ryan T. McBroom. I see him in your comments. He's not even in here, and I got confused. But I'll talk to him too. If y'all lose one game this year, 90% of you will disappear.
Oh, yeah.
You'll be gone. All right? And you won't come back until next year. And the same with Louisville fans. If they would have lost this game, you wouldn't see, you wouldn't have a whiff of any of them. They'd be gone. Thrown into the tall grass, never to be seen again. But you know what? Me and Cdogg, we get on here, win, lose, or draw. Tie till we die. It don't matter. We'll come on here because we're actually fans of a team. Something that a lot of you idiots wouldn't know anything about. We'll get on here when we lose and talk about it. It's fine. We'll talk about what we can improve.
Yeah, yeah, going, losing like the way we have, and sucking for years and going through years of pain, it builds character, and we've got mountains of character built up.
Yeah,
but y'all don't. Y'all be gone. Y'all be a fart in the wind and it happens too. They don't even have to lose a game. They were nowhere to be found whenever they were losing to Ohio State in the playoff game. They were nowhere to be found. And as soon as they start winning, they flood it. So obvious what you're doing.
And you know what else?
Blatant.
Why they don't deserve it. Here's why they don't deserve it, and why they're a garbage fan base. Okay? Because hold on a second. Go ahead. I'm about to absolutely lose it. Just take over for a second. I'll be back.
Are you calming down?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Because all the success they've had, and they act like victims. Like, oh, everyone's against us because Lee Corso picked Alabama to win a national title. Who gives a shit what Lee Corso thinks? Vegas has you plus 210 to win with your butter-soft schedule. And you're opening up with a team in UT Martin that no one gives a shit about and never will. And you schedule them. I mean, you know how bad UT Martin is? There's not even a line on it. There's not even a line on the game. You can't even bet the line on the game. So don't come in here chirping at me at the 12th hour when you see the score update because you hadn't touched grass in 2 weeks. I don't want to hear it.
You don't. It's not like you got any good football to watch. So
yeah, Georgia Tech Louisville is infinitely better of a game that anyone would want to watch than Doo-Doo Martin. And you know what? I bet Carson Beck looks like Doo-Doo against Doo-Doo Martin. It's a marriage made in heaven. They're gonna be like, oh man, I wish we had Haynes King. At least he threw for 313 yards. That's what they're gonna be saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wish
It's
okay, man.
I had to say that.
I like it. I can't always be the one getting crazy and hooping and hollering.
Oh, Squidtard, they could three-peat and still act like they stubbed their toe and they're pissed about it and something's freaking wrong with it.
Yeah.
Even though the red carpet's laid out for them.
Yep. Good night, Squidtard. Thank you for showing up. You're good people. Good luck to Tennessee this weekend. Not that you'll need it. Not that you'll need it.
They do want to be Alabama so bad. You're absolutely
right.
Oh,
yeah, they do. They do. And they want it now.
They
want it now.
They can make that red a little darker into crimson. That's what they want. But you know what? They're going to come to Bobby Dodd and get some red right on that lip. And I hope you do overlook us. I hope you do overlook us and think, oh, man, this is just an inconvenience. We're going to stroll into the SEC title game. We need to move this game in the middle of the season. I hope y'all do think that. And you'll see what's going to happen.
Yeah. it's yeah. I mean, that team has the possibility to get some upsets this year for sure. For sure.
I hope South Carolina dots your eye. I'll be fine with that too.
I mean, if it were up to me, they'd go 0-12. If Georgia went 0-12, I would be mad that they only played 12 games so that they couldn't lose more.
What Inject 22 is absolutely right. It's more than 45%. 99% of these Georgia fans were non-existent 5 or 6 years ago.
Oh yeah, no. They're so blatant. They'll come on and admit it too. They'll come on and admit it.
Yeah, I'm a bandwagon. I don't have any loyalties to anybody.
And then they try to talk to us like, us that are really going through it, and try to join in on the conversation with the big boys. And it's like, no, I'm not giving you the time of day.
They hadn't walked in my shoes. They're so low they couldn't crawl up under my nuts. All right, and that's the truth.
There's this particular loud. He personifies the Georgia fan base. If you've seen the ACC show, I can't stand this freaking guy. It's Kirby's visor, and I don't even like bringing him up because he's just a waste of nothing, and he's just nothing. But he come on and he was like, man, he was like, oh, we had Mark Richt and I just got so tired of Mark Richt and my heart wasn't in it. So I had to, I stopped watching Georgia football, and Kirby came along and I was excited, but then he sucked the first year and I had to stop watching. Like,
yeah,
dude,
yeah.
Can
You're not a fan
went
then.
3-9? Can you imagine if Georgia went 3-9? These people would be nowhere to be found.
They'd be on a side of a cliff.
There wouldn't be one of them.
Cameron Martinez says 20 years right here, baby. Yeah, where you been?
Now there's exceptions. I mean, there's exceptions, but what is irritating is when the bandwagon fans try to come in and talk to us, and we have to waste our time figuring out if they're for real or if they're,
Yeah, because most of your fans aren't. I mean,
yeah,
that's the thing about Tech fans. I mean, there are no bandwagon Tech fans because it don't make sense to be bandwagon on the 3-9 teams that we've had. I mean, these are real fans. Something y'all wouldn't know nothing about.
I mean, we're gonna have bandwagon fans show up soon. So
yeah, that's enough time for them. But
that's just the way it is.
I just went. It's late. I didn't sleep. I was excited for this game. I really sleep last night. We were hanging out today. But yeah, dude, I'm proud of this team too. That's something you'd never hear these other fan bases do, taking a loss. But you know what though? There's some good things that I'm proud of it. You'd never hear that.
Yeah, it stings. It really, really stings. I really wanted this one really bad. But we're just not. I do need some water too, but I don't have any cold ones here. But we're just not ready, I guess, yet. So.
No, we're ready, dude. That's why it's not a 1-game season.
Well, yeah, just as far as, clearly this team has stuff to learn and ways to go. So might have been a different story if our schedule was structured a little differently. If it was a little easier opening game, but like I said, we were going to have to learn this lesson eventually.
Yeah.
There's got to be a culture. There's got to be a mental thing and a culture thing that's got to be, and there's got to be lessons learned.
Yeah, so. And here's something encouraging. I'm looking at the receiving yardage stats. Look how evenly divided this is, how we spread the ball around. Malik Rutherford leads it with 5 receptions for 85 yards. Chase Lane, 3 receptions for 69 yards and a touchdown. Jamal Haynes, who that is pretty brilliant. We would motion him out as a running back, but really throw it to him like a wide receiver in the flat. So he was our third leading receiver, 4 receptions, 56 yards. Eric Singleton Jr., 2 receptions, 34 yards and a touchdown. Abdul Janae had a reception for 33 yards. Christian Leary, 2 receptions for 27 yards. I'm this looks good, man. Like
Christian Leary was catching passes. I didn't see it at all. Him.
I don't remember. Yeah, it says he has two receptions for 27 yards. One of them was for 25.
Oh wow. I don't remember that.
Does Chase Lane have 1 or 2 years of eligibility? I think he has 2. Haynes King has 3, I believe.
but yeah, I did notice that there was no kind of breakout receiver. They're all capable, which is good.
But it totaled for 313 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, and 36. Like I said, 36 points is enough to beat a lot of teams on our schedule. What's concerning is the defense, which kind of bailed us out last year. I mean, it's kind of like what I said. I mean, I expected the defense to take a step back and the offense to take a step forward, and that happened. So I still feel good.
It's hard to say. This is what's interesting about it. It's hard to say the offense was the issue when they scored 34 points, 34 points. But it's hard to say it's all on the defense when you got blanked in the second half.
Yeah.
You can't just keep putting your defense out.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
they gotta get 3-4 stops in a half.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the entire team basically shut down, the offense and the defense. So I know what you mean. What did you think about special teams though? Because there was a couple close calls with the punts, I felt like.
They about got to 2, I think.
Yeah.
There were 2 that were
2.
close. I tell you what, Shanahan's, like, the time from ball to hand to ball to foot seems to be quicker and a little better. But I still think just his motion. Like
he kicks it so low off the ground.
And really far away from him.
Yes. Yeah. My butthole puckers up about that tight every time he drops back to punt, dude. I mean, and he almost got a couple blocks. Like, why?
So that
why?
Luckily, we didn't get a punt blocked, but that is of concern. I thought our punt coverage was infinitely better than it was last year.
Yeah.
Our punt coverage was. I don't think they got more than like 10 yards on a punt return. I could be wrong.
That's really the only complaint I had about the special teams. I mean, and then we stopped receiving, but I mean, you could look at that. We stopped kind of returning kick. We don't have a really good like kick returner, it seems. But like you said, Louisville was crazy on. Maybe they're just really good. I mean, seemed like that to me.
You know what?
Maybe
Cameron,
we were wrong.
You caught me at a. I was pissed. Okay, so maybe you are. I'm going to take you at your word. You caught me.
Whippings through the hold on. I had to go through some ass whippings for Paul
3 of them
through the late 2000s. Yeah, he beat you 3 times, dude. He went. There's no years of heartbreak. You don't know pain. You don't know true pain. Georgia fans have it so easy, dude, and they act like victims. You did not endure ass whippings. You beat him 3 freaking times, dude, and we beat you barely, like.
And you were national champion contenders. You were a Georgia fan's penis length away from a national title in an SEC title game. So
yeah, this is the problem with Georgia fans. They think that they think that's going through it. I'd love to see. I'd love to see y'all go through some real tough times. I hope I see it in my lifetime. I hope I do.
Oh, look,
it would allow me to weed out a lot of the people who I talk to, because I don't want to waste time talking to somebody who thinks that they had to go through the Paul Johnson years or the Mark Richt years.
Yeah, the Paul Johnson years were so horrible for Georgia. I mean, this is what I'm talking about, this victim mentality of Georgia fans.
Dude.
And just when I think I'm out, you Georgia fans pull me back in. Okay.
Yeah. You don't know true pain. True pain is going 3-9 and freaking getting blown out 55-0 to Notre Dame, and then 45-0 the next week to Georgia. Like, that is pain.
Yeah.
And then having your entire all of your best staff quit, your entire every best player transfer out, all your recruits decommit, and be just absolutely hopeless. Oh, and on top of that, college football is realigning, and you might get relegated. That's true pain.
Yeah, you're fighting for your life.
That stings worse than any old suckage. Georgia will just never be able to relate to that. Which, I mean, not your fault, but don't act like you know true pain.
Yeah.
Because you don't. I pray that you will one day. I think you will. And I'll be there for it.
Dude, I ate the hell out of these things on the way home, too.
What is it?
The wild berry Skittles.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I don't really like those.
Well, that's what they had. The end of Mark's career was ugly. Didn't he win 9 games his last year with you?
What a joke.
Didn't he consistently recruit in the top 5? Get out of here, dude.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
You don't have a freaking clue.
You don't.
Your opinions are ugly. You're probably ugly.
Clemson fans are like that too. Whenever they went 9-3 the other year, they were like, "This is a travesty. This is
oh my god. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do, guys? We won 9 games. Oh my god.
Has Dabo lost touch?
Oh my god.
Dude, last year I was in a group chat with like Millis and X-Wing and Ballard, and they were like watching Alabama like struggle against like Texas or something, and they were like, "This is disgusting. I don't even recognize this team."
I'm embarrassed.
Some of these fans are just so spoiled. I can't imagine. That's why I'm able to keep a positive attitude after, even after this heartbreaking loss, is just because like I'm just putting it in perspective, and I guess eventually you have to expect and want better. But for right now, I'm just enjoying being competitive and.
Well, you know what Polly Walnut said in The Sopranos? No one knows what the future holds, my little friend. And just like some freaking gangster assassins, we're going to start assassinating these teams we're dogs to in these lines.
There's some teams on notice after what I've seen today. There's some teams on notice.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, and Cameron, you might laugh, and that's fine. I get laughed at a lot. Ain't nothing new to me. There's not a team on our schedule I don't think we can't beat. There's not.
I agree. If we're firing on all cylinders, this team's capable of beating a lot of teams, especially, a Georgia type who could be sleepwalking. Like last year, like they were last year.
Like Missouri, like Georgia Tech.
This team could have beat Georgia last year.
Yeah.
In the Georgia game when y'all were asleep in the first half.
Yeah, it's been so rough. We draw TCU in the Natty. That's rough, man. I don't know what to tell you.
What a joke.
Get some Prozac, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, this was a tough. Yeah. This was a tough one for sure.
It's a tough one, man. But you know what? It's 2 sides of the same coin. With the great highs of winning, you have to experience the lows of losing.
I mean, it's the glory of college football. There's winners and losers, and a lot of the times we're south of the line, but and there's a lot of overreacting I'm seeing. Like people say, "Oh, Tech sucks," Atlanta team chokes, and we're gonna suck forever. Like as if this team is not like way improved from last year. This team would have never put up 30. This team couldn't put up 30 points against freaking Virginia last year. Couldn't put up freaking 14 against them. So it's like,
yeah. I mean, we're gonna be okay. Like I'm really, do I hate we lost? Yeah, but like I'm not. It's not DEFCON 5, like, hey, there's no hope for the season. Which, on a lighter note, like, if you had to pick two offensive players and two defensive players that stuck out to you in this game. They're like, all right, we can build something around these guys.
Haynes King, baby. Haynes King.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the performance like that at Georgia Tech. He was just solid. Now, I don't know what you've seen. I want you to do like a detailed breakdown of what you kind of saw from him, because that's interesting to me. But from my point of view, he looked like the absolute truth. Haynes King, and then this is tough. I'm gonna have to go with Jamal Haynes, because I mean he came out of nowhere. He wasn't even supposed to be a running back. He was a receiver, and that room was so stacked.
3 months ago he was a running back.
Yeah. He became a running back, and he's pretty much the best one. Cooley's pretty good too. Them two are the best. So yeah, I'd have to go with Haynes and freaking Cooley or Jamal Haynes too. Both Haynes.
Yeah.
But and then defense, I guess I would say, Clayton Powell-Lee looked great.
He had a pick, didn't he?
Yeah. He had a pick, and he was solid. Yeah, he was solid this game. I missed Miles Brooks. KJ Wallace impressed me tonight.
Yep.
He was pretty good tonight. He had some nice pass breakups. Obviously, I mean, you can say that all the players that I just listed off had poor performance in the second half, but that was the entire team. So I give props to KJ Wallace. He kind of he impressed me. So
okay, I would agree with Haynes King. I stated kind of my concern is from what I saw. Like, I could see what he could see downfield, and if you look at him as he's kind of like coming like this to the sideline, where it's like, am I going to throw? Am I going to run? Am I going to throw? It's like, you can't duck walk to the sideline. Like, you got to make the decision. Either you're confident enough to make this throw in a tight window, or you're not and you need to run. But you can't let the defense smother you to the sideline deciding.
Yeah. Now, I will say he was accurate tonight. He was very accurate.
That crossing route he threw was on a dot.
He had some very nicely placed balls.
He did have nice balls tonight.
As opposed to Jack Plummer, who for a while there he was throwing them in the dirt.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
But this was a great quarterback battle too. It like taking my fandom out of it and like my stress level out of it. I'm honestly, even though we lost, like I'm glad it's over, because I was stressing about this game. Very disappointed that we lost, but I am glad it's over. But this was like taking my fandom out of it. I was saying this during the game. Like that was an amazing game of college football, and an amazing quarterback back and forth. Like this was a battle of two great quarterbacks. Plummer really showed out in the second half, but yeah. I just wanted to say that Haynes King had he was very accurate, and I was impressed. He had some really tight like windows, like you were saying.
He did, but when it was most important to make a play and a throw toward that stretch before he turned the ball over, he just made some really curious mistakes. Like we had, it wasn't super loud during that series, so there was some kind of disconnect between him and the wide receiver where he just throws it way around. That decision to throw it away but not throw it away, like that can't happen in a game. Like, you cannot do that. But I do think those are things that are correctable. I do think he's still trying to find his confidence can you make this throw when you got to make this throw. It's 3rd and 5 and we got to convert and they've stacked the box. You got to find a place to throw this football. That I'm still not sure about, but I think he can do it. Number 2 on offense, it's hard to pick just 2 on offense. I was really impressed.
Is Haynes King also your pick?
Yeah, he's kind of a mixed bag, but the most important quarterback position on offense is quarterback, and I think he has the capability to do really special things with this offense. Yeah. and I hope that the things that I'm kind of seeing, I'm a little off about, and I could definitely be. My number 2 on offense was Travion Cooley. When you have a big bruising back with speed like that you can rely on, and I don't know, like, in the second half that was his fault. Like, there was just nowhere to go up the middle for him.
Yeah.
I think he
but I
can
mean,
do good things.
At some point, at some ports, when we were really rolling, the Red Sea would part, dude. The old O-line would open a mile-wide hole. I could run through there, dude.
Yeah.
It's the darndest thing. The darndest thing. And, of course, like you said, in the second half, he had nowhere to go. But, yeah, I was amazed at the holes that were opening at some points. I was like, wow.
Yeah. Now, I'll agree with you on defense with Clayton Powell-Lee. He made some very nice pass breakups. And look, man, they were. I was a little off. They ran a lot of deep routes downfield, and we had trouble covering them in space, especially in man. Clayton Powell-Lee did a pretty good job, had the pick. Second, I would say on defense, I thought Trinelius Tatum played well. Let me look at our defensive stats. Let's see. Trinelius Tatum was our tied for first. So Jalen King had 8 tackles, Kyle Kennard had 8, and Trinelius Tatum had 8 with 2 solos. I thought he did a good job kind of taking command of the defense. It's not clear to me if him or Paul Mola is kind of in charge of that, but he's the guy that's been there the longest, that understands this defensive system the best. I thought he did a good job across the middle. And special teams is a little bit of a mixed bag. You got to be able to hit field goals within 40 yards like clockwork. Like, that can't be something that our butthole should be puckering up about. But look, punt coverage seems to be fixed from what I saw today. Now, I could say that, and then Ole Miss returns a punt against us. And I'll agree with you, too. The other thing with kick returns, I'd like to be able to get some field advantage kick returning with people like Christian Leary and Aaron Singleton Jr. We need to, and I'm sure we will, really break down film in that kick coverage and see, it seemed like on kick coverage they just outspeeded us and got to the spot before we could probably set a wedge.
Yeah, that was something I kind of would have liked to see. But yeah, Christian Leary is kind of anonymous this game. I didn't see much out of him. So
yeah.
So sorry, I was kind of looking.
Well, it's almost 2 in the morning. We'll probably wrap up soon. I mean, hell, we could talk about it.
yeah, we have. I could talk about this for a week. It's been, it's been a long off season, and there's so much to unpack here. But yeah, I'm tired too, and I gotta go to this wedding tomorrow.
Dang. There you go, Slim. Take someone else's words and type them out there. Do you have anything original to say today or not?
What did he say?
Wee!
Oh. Uncle Loser.
Why don't you just copy-paste Lou's channel?
You want me to tear you a new asshole like I did Lou?
Go ahead on Slim. Because I know he's going to come in here poking. Go ahead on Slim.
I don't got it in. I was bluffing. I don't got it in me right now.
You're bluffing? I'll go on Slim right now.
Go ahead. You take this one. I'm tagging out.
Who do y'all have? They already played Miami of Ohio. That's another great opening week game. What are y'all like? Not only are you gonna copy everything Lou says, you're gonna copy Georgia's schedule too. I guess just garbage teams to open up with. Is there anything original that a Miami man has to say today besides coming in here chirping on the Georgia Tech live show? You're the number 1 on notice. That's the one game that I would not switch my pick on. In fact, your one game I'd pick a blowout in. We'll run you off the field in Miami. You want to keep talking. That's fine.
Tell them what Louisville would have done to them tonight. They might have put 50 up on them.
I mean, as wide as some of those holes you were talking about, that's as wide as y'all's holes would be after the game. I'll tell you that in 2 seconds.
Those sorry ass candy canes would have gave up 50 to Louisville.
And y'all
tonight.
play Louisville.
Oh yeah,
Louisville about beat y'all 50 to
nothing. They're gonna beat their ass. Yeah, they're gonna beat their ass for real. Miami not that tough. That was a tough fought game, and Louisville's a tough team too.
Miami can't win no dog fight. They can't win a street fight with no team.
Yeah. They don't have the toughness. And Jeff Brom coach team is no joke, man. He's a hell of a coach. I got to give him his props.
Oh, and how about this? Georgia Tech had a shorter travel to a neutral site game than you do to a home game. That's embarrassing. Coming up in here. That's all right. Who do y'all got after Miami of Ohio? Y'all got another doo-doo team y'all play. Speaking of copying Georgia.
Yeah, some of these teams don't have any game.
So y'all's 2023 schedule. Let's see. Oh, your second game's Texas A&M. They'll probably blow you out. And then you got Bethune Cookman. Is that a football team or a ladies bowling team? I don't even know what that is. And you got Temple. And then you got a bye week, and you got us.
This guy, there's this one guy in particular that comments on my videos, and he is probably my least favorite commenter.
He comments on what now? I feel like I've fallen asleep momentarily. Go ahead.
he comments on all my stuff during the season. He leaves during the off season. He's probably my least favorite commenter. His name is Big Daddy Trucker Dog. And he says, "Oh my goodness, it's so funny to watch your emotions from halftime to the end of the game." And then he puts like 12 crying emojis. He's like old. You can tell by the way he types. He's like an old freaking stupid trucker. They all tend to be. He says, "I love it. I love it. I love it. GD. Junior varsity is finally over. Grown man football starts when UGA takes the field Saturday. UGA, 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 UGA." He puts UGA, he will type out these long messages and like pause to put UGA, UGA, UGA in the middle. Like
he probably types it out because he doesn't know Control C, Control V.
He is like the biggest ego I've ever seen.
Say his name again for me real quick.
Big Daddy Trucker Dog.
You know what? That's the first thing I thought when you said his name.
What?
That's someone that frequents bathhouses. That was the first thing I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all get a little salty when they'll take L. Yeah, well, I don't love it. You think I'm going to come in and be like, man, love losing. I mean, y'all would know something about that, never winning the ACC.
Especially when we get eviscerated for this. I mean, are we not the one? You guys are the ones saying Louisville's going. I know not you, Slim. But, all these people tearing us apart were the ones saying Louisville's going to hit their over and Louisville's going to cover and blow out Georgia Tech. And you're getting on to us because we blew a lead. I mean, without giving us any sort of credit for how we've, been able to come back and improve as a team. I mean, whatever. You can count us out, but it's going to be to your detriment. So
I might fly to Miami. Think about it.
That's all I got to say about that.
I'm thinking about it. Oh my God, Patience beat Veach. Oh, that was at the fan day, I think. She has a picture with Zach Power, and I'm like, did you just go to the game and take a picture of Zach Power? I mean, it wouldn't surprise me.
No. She was a little bit emotional tonight too.
I didn't get to see. I only saw one guy. One guy came up and was like, "WreckTalk," and my dad was with me, and I was like,
"Yeah,
you see that? You see what just happened, cool. Papa Frickle or Papa WreckTalk?"
Yeah, people do that from my wife, and my wife she thinks that I have like a big ego. I don't. I don't. I'm down to earth. Come on.
The way you get treated on here, you come in typing "we" and you expect me to just sit here and be okay with that. All right? If you come in here chirping, I'm going to slap them lips a little bit. I mean, that's just the way it is.
We're on edge. We're on edge, okay?
Yeah.
You're on edge.
Yeah.
You need to.
God forbid you lose a close game to Texas A&M. I'll be calling.
Yeah.
Woo!
Whee! Whee! We're entering silly hours. Oh man.
All right. Well, it's almost 2. Guys, I appreciate y'all coming in. I apologize. I don't normally go on rants, but I'm going on like 2 hours of sleep and a tough loss. Y'all lost a close game to Texas A&M last year. Well, get used to that. It's going to happen again.
Yeah.
You caught me at a not at my best moment necessarily, but whatever. My favorite saying is what it is, man. I don't know what to tell you. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate y'all coming in. In the future, this should be on Mark Rogers' channel. We just had trouble setting it up. We got to get a few things set up. Technically, I'll drop a link for that in our Discords. I'll do a community post. We'll promote that in our videos moving out throughout this week, prepping for, I guess, South Carolina. There won't be much to say.
Yeah,
probably going into that game.
We're gonna want them. We could probably talk about this game for a week.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks. We're gonna have to for 2 weeks, pretty much. So.
But yeah, I go to the game, so as soon as I can get back and get on here, we'll start a post game. Cdogg might even start it before I get back and get things rolling. And every week, baby, every week. So appreciate it, you guys. Have a great night. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Be safe. I mean, and also drive responsibly, because how many cops did we pass today? Probably 20. They're out there.
Yeah, they are.
We'll talk to you guys soon.